Hello, hello. Hey guys. So thanks for joining. If you were just on my other stream, I just finished doing the stream on Alex Webb and Rebecca Norris Webb's book, Brooklyn, The City Within. And I just thought I would start a separate stream afterwards in case anyone wanted to catch up and just to run a couple of things by you guys that I thought it would be good to get some opinions on and just to kind of talk about what's been up and what's happening in the upcoming months and so on. So yeah, in case I didn't really get a chance to interact with anyone on my last stream, how's everyone going? What are you up to? What are you shooting? I'm keen to know for myself. I just finished shooting a roll in this Mamiya 645, which I've mentioned on some previous live streams and such. I'm borrowing this camera. It's not mine. I'm going to be comparing it to my 645 camera, which is the Pentax 645. So there'll be a video on that coming up where I kind of talk about some of the options when it comes to 645 cameras. And the most popular ones that I see out there are the Pentax 645, this one, and maybe the Contax. But I'm not really going to recommend that or get one to use because in my opinion, the Contax is just way too overpriced now. It's not a very realistic option for most people. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Bronica ETRS instead, which is what I think another really great 645 option for someone getting into medium format especially. So I finished a roll of Portra and dropped that off recently, and I'll add that to some of the other rolls I've shot in this camera and just sort of use that as a test to kind of gather my thoughts on what I thought was good about this one and compare that to the Pentax 645 and the Bronica ETRS and so on, and then kind of present a video talking about, you know, what someone might be looking at if they were getting into medium format and these three cameras as viable options. I don't know. I might change the format of that video a bit, but we'll see. But yeah, thanks for everyone who jumped back on. Devin, hey man. Hayden, hello. And Flute, cool. So what are you up to? You're rescanning some rolls from 2021 with my newer DSLR scanning setup. Oh, cool. I don't know if you probably posted about this on Discord or something, but what camera are you using now? Because I'm using my 5D Mark IV and I always wonder if I would get better results with a different system. Not that I am complaining about my results, they're great. Still riding that Canon F1 contact. Yeah, cool, riding high, nice. That was cool, man, that contact sheet with the black and whites. The Canon F1 is a great camera, by the way. That's a really good choice and a good alternative to, let's say, like a Nikon F3 or something. So yeah, what's everyone else up to? How are you feeling the sting of the recent Kodak film price rise, if at all? Maybe it didn't affect you much, or you didn't really care, because everything goes up in price, right? Anyway, some of the things that I thought would be good to get your opinion on if you haven't already seen it in the poll. And I've talked about this a fair bit in the past because I started this channel with my friend Nick way back in 2016 or something like that. It's been a while now. And I've loved doing it. Nick was only involved in the earlier days because we never thought it would actually take off. We just did it for fun. We thought we'd make a few videos and whatever happened from there would happen. And he works full time. He was part owner of, you know, a bunch of cafes, working 6 days a week and so on. So I was generally doing all the editing and the producing and everything, and then wanted to keep the channel alive. So I kept making videos on my own. And since then, I've just been running the channel and enjoying it, and it's been growing, which I'm really grateful for. But, you know, I would like to maybe do videos or content about more than just film, and I know that that's fine. I can do that, and I have in the past. I've done videos on whatever it could be, like a printer or a Fuji X Pro 3 or whatever. And although I've tried to kind of pose that as, for example, the Fuji X Pro 3 as a video comparing it to the film shooting experience, I've always thought that like it would be cool to make content that isn't necessarily anchored in film photography related you know, topics or whatever. Maybe one day I, you know, would do a video. I don't know. I have no idea. But the point is, I put out a poll sort of asking if I was to do non-film related videos or shorts or whatever, things that I initially feel might alienate a bit of the audience watching the channel, would it be better to just start a new channel, or would it be better to here it is, do it on Instagram, for example, a platform that I'm not really that into? I don't find Instagram, like, I don't like using it as much. I like it as a photo sharing app and just dumping photos and looking at other people's photos, and I try not to spend too much time on there anyway. And I also feel like most of the audience is here on YouTube. So I put out a poll, and there were 180 votes, which is a considerable amount, and it was kind of close. Most people said just post it on this channel. The least popular was to start a separate YouTube channel, which I thought initially would be the best option, because I could just start that channel. I mean, I have a channel just named Hashim McAdam. There's no one on it, but that could be a channel where I could just talk about coffee or food or anything, travel, things I'm up to, whatever, things that wouldn't otherwise fit within this channel. But on the other hand, that would be annoying for some people having to subscribe to a second channel. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm blabbering on here, but I think you get what I'm getting at here, hopefully. Because of the 36,000 or something like that, people who are subscribed, I'm sure most of them don't really give a shit, to be honest. Like, they just see a video pop up, and if it's something they're interested, they'll click on it. So I figured that, if I had a separate channel, if you subscribe, that's up to you, and you can see stuff that isn't necessarily related to film, or yeah. I've even toyed with changing the name of the channel, which I don't really want to do either. And then, as mentioned, I've never really liked the Instagram stories and TV and Reels and TikTok and all that other stuff as much as YouTube, because I find YouTube a little bit more community centric, and it's more connected to my existing audience and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, cooking content. I love cooking. There's a lot of things I like, and it's not just film photography. And even when it comes to photography, I do shoot a lot of digital too. I always have. It was the reason we started a film channel was because there weren't any film channels in Australia. There weren't any at all. And there were plenty of digital channels everywhere. So that's why we focused on film. But I would I do still shoot a lot of digital, and I do it for work and for personal work and everything. So yeah. Devin used the Fuji X-T2, and Nico, nice. And now you've switched to A7. Oh, cool. So higher resolution and Sony macro. Yeah, I'm assuming that would be sharper and better. Hey, thanks for joining. Not going to come as a surprise. I totally support the expansion beyond film and keeping it on your existing channels. Yeah. Would it be confusing for people though? Like, the channel's called Pushing Film, which was just the random name we happened to come up with all those years ago. And I love shooting film and talking about it, but I've always tried not to post too much content that isn't strictly related to film, or I've tried to, again, kind of pose it as something related. Don't change name. Yeah, I don't want to change the channel name. I'm personally against posting to Instagram. It's gamification of the algorithm. Yeah, that's true. At most, and it's a poor platform for long form content, also splits efforts. Yeah, because I've done some stuff like travel vlogs and whatever, and I happen to shoot film on those vlogs, so I've posted them. Like, Sarah and I had our travels to Perth or to overseas destinations like Nepal, Bangladesh, and Japan. We've done videos on that. But there's some other stuff I've done where I didn't necessarily shoot film, and I haven't ever bothered thinking about posting it to the channel, or discussion related stuff that's purely maybe about like photographing weddings or couples or anything like that. So it seems to me that the consensus would be to just keep it on this channel, and just, if someone doesn't want to watch it, they don't watch it. And if it comes across confusing, like, hey, isn't this channel called Pushing Film? And sometimes I've made a disclaimer at the beginning of videos because I might have shared photo books that aren't necessarily shot on film and whatever. I like to think people don't really care too much. They just care more about the content. So again, if anyone has thoughts on that, just let me know, because don't think that your thoughts aren't relevant or that they don't matter or that you're not really informed enough, I want to just let me know. I know you're watching and you're just sitting there lurking. Let me know what you think, because I want to get as many opinions as possible to do what I think you guys think would work best. Start a new channel, just post whatever here. Didier, personally like book reviews a lot. Yeah, see, I like doing them, and I have a lot of books that sometimes I wonder, would people be interested in these? Focus on YouTube, no need to start over. If you break from your mold, that seems fine. Thanks, man. Matt Mirage posts TikTok. Yeah, I don't like TikTok. I made an account ages ago, but I don't like going on there. It just feels like stupid, most of the stuff that I get shown. So I'm like, well, I know that I don't necessarily have to make stupid content, but just the whole platform doesn't strike me as the right kind of place. Like, what if I want to do something about, simple tips or hacks to do with what I'd take to a wedding, and then I want to post some links? I don't know if TikTok is really the right place for that either. Just keep it all on the same channel, maybe give the videos different series names. Yeah, that's what I kind of try and do with playlists, so that could work. Just play on the pushing portion of it to me and beyond. Well, yeah, I mean, we're pushing film, but also pushing creativity, really, right? Hey, Cheyenne, thanks for joining, man. How's it going up there? TikTok is a bubble. Yeah, like I made an account, but honestly, I don't even open the app. I don't go on it. I don't generally like it. Sometimes I'll get sent a funny video from there and I'll watch it, and they are really funny and amusing. People do some cool stuff on there. I just don't think it's for me. And I know that it's where everyone's saying the crowds are at and where you will get a lot of people jump. But I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in catering more to you guys, people who are that kind of community that I connect with more, that goes a little bit deeper than just like have a laugh, click a button and move on. Anyway, I think that's the direction I'll take that in. For example, if I'll probably end up trying out a Fuji X100V sooner or later. That's another digital camera that I'm thinking of trying, and I'll probably do a video on my thoughts on that. And I guess there will be a bit of a comparison to shooting film, because me being someone who also shoots film, that'll come naturally. But I don't know if I really need to keep posing it as like X100V versus film. I don't like doing that necessarily. But then I maybe could do it as like, this is my perspective as a film photographer who, shoots a lot of film for my personal work, my perspective of, let's say, the X100, or if I try an XC4 or whatever. So I think, judging by what everyone's saying, that's the way to go. Play to your strengths. You're already successful on YouTube. Successful. Thanks, man. Perhaps add a linked blog with more information than is in the video. Oh, yeah. I do that sometimes, actually. I have my blog, but I don't post to it too much. I've got something in the works right now. For example, I'm looking at some Pro Mist filters that are not Tiffen, because I have Tiffins and I'm going to compare them to the Tiffen Pro Mist and all that sort of stuff. And I'm going to post that to the blog, because I don't think it's interesting enough for the channel, but that's what I'm talking about. Steven, X100V gas again. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not gas. It's just something that I'm like, knowing that I want to get sooner or later. I'm not in a rush for it. I just know it's the right tool to solve a few problems for me. And then I've talked about that before. So it's just a matter of like eventually getting my hands on one. But I'm really not in a rush. I have my MA and my Canon digitals for work. So the X100 would be good for travel. That's because I'm hoping to start traveling again soon. And this means overseas. And I know a lot of you guys watching probably have been missing travel as well. Is anyone going anywhere? I know that the world's kind of going through this new wave, but that it's kind of temporary and it should subside. It's kind of going to fall as quick as it rises, maybe. And that travel will be opening up again in a couple of months, as we approach, let's say, April, May, June, and so on. So you're definitely keen for the street stuff with digital too. Yeah, I mean, that would be cool to do. I've done my MA point of view videos. Could be cool to do one where I take a digital and a film camera, compare them. Or maybe not, maybe just do a digital one. I went on a scout camp last weekend at -10 degrees Celsius. Holy shit. Up to 20 to 30 meters per second winds. That's extremely fast. Bought my A7 and the Nikon. FM held up best and wasn't affected by the cold. Yeah, because it's not as battery dependent. That's really cool. Always love travel vlogs. They don't necessarily need photos. I shoot digital too. Posted a few Nikon. Cool. Yeah, don't worry about whether or not you get responses on Instagram. That shouldn't be why you do it. Do it like the way, behind this backdrop here, I have a metal board. I've kind of switched the room up, by the way. And that metal board is somewhere where I just pin photos I printed, whether it's a series I'm working on or whatever, just using little magnets. And it's kind of just so I can see them and go back at them and look at, what would work, just to kind of let them brew and marinate. And I treat Instagram like that, like just a posting board. And I don't really care too much how much engagement it gets. It's just, it doesn't matter. Who really cares? Northern Sweden, nice. That'll be good. So Cheyenne, flights and hotel booked for Bali, April 1st. Yeah, hopefully by then things will settle. And everyone's vaccinated and everything, so it's just really time to get back out there, I think, once this latest wave subsides. Stephen, visiting Canada soon. Not Canada. We spoke about that. We do want to visit Canada, so Sarah and I want to go there at some point. We were initially going to go to India, and the plan for that kind of fell through, and now we're thinking of going to the Middle East, including Istanbul. If you were watching my Alex Webb video before, I've always been fascinated by Turkey. And here, maybe even Italy. We don't know yet because it's really unpredictable. It's hard to plan anything, but we will hopefully be traveling soon in a few months around that time as well. Let's say May, June, something. And of course, I'll be definitely bringing a lot of content from overseas, which I'm really excited for. It'll be great. I haven't done anything like that for a while. Get it on video, get a lot of photos, bring some content, and hopefully something for anyone to enjoy who can't travel yet or isn't fortunate enough to be able to. Slept in tents. Oh, wow, yeah. Humidity's no good for any camera, really. Yeah, Nikon F's bulletproof. Similar setup as you since 2020. 645, Leica M6, and X100. Yeah, so for me, it's the Pentax 645, Leica MA, and then maybe I'll get a digital because I use my Canon 5D, which is an amazing camera. I just don't use it for personal work much because a lot of my personal work is documentary and street where I'm out and about and trying to be inconspicuous and quick and lightweight, and the Canon doesn't work for that. I mean, I've done it before. I've taken it out with a 40mm pancake and it's not bad. It's just not ideal carrying the big SLR out on the street. So that's one of the reasons why I'm probably going to get an X100. Stephen, so you've been to Istanbul? Yeah, cool. Yeah, hopefully we can go there and spend a week, and then maybe Cappadocia, and then go to Lebanon, which I've mentioned before on the channel. So that's where my parents are from. That's my heritage, Lebanese, and I really want to go there, even though it's unclear. The situation there is a bit not too ideal, but who knows how things will go in the next few months. And then yeah, Italy could be cool. Sarah went there recently, and I couldn't join, so this would be good to do some kind of, maybe Greece, I don't know. The response shouldn't matter. I was just curious to see whether my following cared if a shot was taken on digital film. The thing is, Instagram and the response you get isn't really any indication of whether people care or not. People use Instagram really subconsciously and they're not even paying attention sometimes. So they're just scrolling like zombies. And I do that too sometimes. But yes, don't care at all about engagement. Yeah. And just to touch on that again, to see whether people cared. Yeah, no, they don't. They shouldn't care. And that's the thing. Sometimes I post photos and it's from a digital camera and people go, what film was this shot on? And I'm like, oh, it wasn't shot on film. It was shot on this camera. Or like whatever it could be. Like I'll put a photo on film and I think it was really cool, whatever. And then people don't really care. They just care that it's a nice photo. Or yeah, it could be something that I shot on film, and it's not really because it was on film that it gets praise or a lack of praise or whatever. It's because of the content of the photo. And that's what I've been trying to shift towards. Like, I don't, because of that reason, because of a lot of the hype that started to surround film, and I've noticed over the last 2 years, a lot of people will put in their account, you know, like, I shoot film or whatever, kind of make a big deal out of it. And which, that's fine, but at a certain point, it starts to detract from the actual photography, where it's like, it's more about the fact that you shot it on film rather than the photo itself and the story that the photo is telling. So for the last while, I've tried not to always post which camera I used, for example, because I don't want it to be that someone's using the hashtag Leica MA or whatever it is, and just really interested in that, because then it becomes less and less about the photography. And this has been a phenomenon that's been slowly rising over the last few years as film has become really popular. And for that reason, it's become a reminder to me that, like, yeah, I love film because of the process, but I still put the photography first. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the story, about the photo, and film is the tool, the process for that. It's a means to an end. So it shouldn't become about the means itself. It's always about the end product. And that's what I'm trying to shift towards and remind people of as well, because I love the process, but it's not just about the process when it comes to creativity. That is an important part of it. It's integral, but it also is about the product. And there's much more to the process than the camera or the tool or the fact that you use film. The process is about how you thought about things and how you executed it and your planning and whatever else. There's so many other aspects to process besides the tools, the physical aspects of it being film camera, film stock, this lens, this camera, whatever. So I hope that resonates with some people and makes some kind of sense. Cheyenne, if you go to Istanbul, check out. Yeah, I've heard of that photographer. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but I've definitely seen that name pop up. Shot Leica with 21mm lens. Yeah. Most people have no idea if it's film or digital. I play this game where people can pick the image. Yeah, and most people get it wrong. Exactly. That proves the point, doesn't it? Scrolling like zombies. Yeah, right. So, Luke, I've asked a film question to you. I'm not sure what you mean by that. It's probably because you left this comment a couple of minutes ago or something. Exactly. So if you want to know how I feel about the X Pro 3 with the rangefinder lenses, it didn't quite replicate the Leica M experience and the way you would use a rangefinder. I even tried zone focusing and all that. I think it can. If you give yourself the time to get used to it, that's what it's all about. But if you want my more in-depth thoughts, I did a whole video on the channel. You can go back and check it out. It's called X Pro 3, Filmographer's Perspective. And I specifically touched on, I think it was towards the end, the experience of using the X Pro with the optical viewfinder and the Leica M lenses adapted, and whether it was close enough to have and complement the M system. I don't think it quite did, but if it was your only system and you allowed yourself time to get used to it, and you don't really shoot very wide lenses because of the crop factor, you could make it work for sure. But I think it'll be better to just use the Fuji autofocus lenses, which are great, and then use a rangefinder for zone focusing. Good job, well said. Films often used as a medium to save an otherwise unintentional image. Yeah, it's just become about like the wrapping, right? Darth Nostikos did a video on it and had the same setup. The camera unfortunately doesn't play with full frame lenses super well. Yeah. More like Contax G series. You can see that. It's good to have the hashtags though, because you can check out what individual films look like. I like Flickr a lot more. Yeah, I think that's better if you're actually after more informative links to photos. So let's say you want to figure out what lens to buy or something. I still do that. Flickr is great for that, and I think it's a better tool. So you could go Flickr, Sony f1.8 something, or even a film stock, and it's much better organized. You get a better view of the images. It's not as compressed. You can spend more time looking at it properly. I think Flickr is better for that. Instagram has kind of changed, and it's become more hype focused. Dusty, hey man, thanks for joining. Congrats on the M6, by the way. I saw that you got that recently. Heading back to check it out. Thanks for the insight. Oh, sorry, I think I was confusing one of the comments earlier. But yeah, thanks for the feedback on that, guys, about like this whole thing I've been kind of thinking about. Again, I'm not abandoning film, not that I'm sure anyone inferred that, but it's just that I'd like to maybe do more content that isn't just focused on film, and talk more about some of my broader interests in photography and outside of photography, whatever that might be. But I don't want to muddy up the channel. So maybe what someone mentioned earlier, having like a sub-series or something, and then people just won't click on it, because obviously, number one, YouTube probably won't show it to them if it's just a video about me talking about coffee or whatever, or surfing or whatever it could be. And on the other hand, they might see the video about surfing and just not click on it if it's not their thing. What's good? What's a good no Leica digital camera that can compete with the Leica M digital rangefinders? So a non-Leica digital camera that could compete with them. I see what you mean. Not much, really. Probably the X Pro is the next best thing. There is that old Epson that I'm seeing Stephen mentioned. It's just clunky and it's not really very versatile. It's more a question of asking yourself what aspect of the M digital rangefinders is it that you wanted to compete with. Are you someone who's that used to zone focusing and it's all about that, and that's the aspect you're looking for? Then I don't think any other camera does the optical viewfinder, rangefinder patch, zone focusing combination as well as Leica, and I stand by that. In a digital world, at least. With the film, at least you have the Voigtlander Bessers and some other options, many other options. But with digital, I would just say get a Fujifilm and just either get used to the rangefinder crop factor and everything and the difference of the focusing scale, or just rely on autofocus. I haven't checked out Walk-ins for a while. They were out of stock for a lot of film stocks. Yeah, I was there about a month and a half ago. They were low on a lot of things. Is this why you're moving to digital for a bit? No, so here's the thing. I'm not necessarily moving to digital anymore recently. I'm just starting to talk about it more. I've been a digital shooter for a while, and if you go back and look at work I've posted over the years, and I've recently reposted some work from 2016, 18, some of it was taken on digital during my travels or on the street or whatever. I've just never, because the channel's always been about film, I don't talk about it as much. But one aspect of what you're saying is true in that, let me bring up the comment if anyone wants to know what we're talking about. Recently, the price rise has been making me want to offload some of my street photography work specifically onto digital. And I've never been able to do that because I haven't had the right type of digital camera. I had a little Panasonic G series for a while, but I didn't love that, so I ended up selling it. But yes, the price rise is partly because of that. Because I've been working on a lot of series and work on the street, and it's been like many rolls of film to buy and to process, and spending at least $1,000+ just on the processing per year. It's about offloading some of that, which is the reality of things, and maybe just shooting more black and white on film and less color, and offloading some of that color work onto digital. And another main reason was because I need something for travel and versatility of doing video out and about, and something compact for taking overseas that isn't my Canon, for video, for vlogging, and for recording stuff for the channel or otherwise. So there's multiple reasons why I'm making a little bit of a shift in that regards. I wonder if you'd feel comfortable talking about the road to where you are. There's a certain section of us. Sorry, there is a certain section of us who. Maybe the comment didn't get continued. Price rise made me buy a half frame. Yeah, I mean, I made a whole video about the price rise, I don't know, half a year ago or something. And I talked about some of these things. Epson RD1, great digital camera for LTM. Yeah, it's just kind of old and slow. Pushing JPEG, yeah. That'd be another channel name. Any tips on making a zine or photo book? Yeah, there's a lot of tips. I made a whole video about tips on making a zine or photo book, and you can check that out if you want, because it saves me trying to remember everything I mentioned there. My main tip is don't rush it and enjoy the process. But if you want more technical stuff, check out the video on the channel. Just search it in my back catalog. It's from last year. Thanks, mate. It's a Mean Machine. Unfortunately, in a bit of a slump. A pile of film dev and lacking motivation. Give it time. Don't force it. As long as you're happy about spending a lot of money to develop film rolls, that's all that matters. That's the thing. It's become, for me, quite expensive. Because sometimes I'll be shooting, I'll drop in multiple rolls and I'm spending like $60 on a developing batch. And then because I've been shooting more than I used to because I've been out on the street more. I think the pandemic made me miss street photography so much that I've just gone back into it so much. And it's my only way to kind of engage with the world when there's less interaction going on. So I've been shooting a lot more out and about and on the street, and been paying a lot. And the film prices have doubled for some things. I used to buy a lot of films that were a few bucks a roll, and it's just, you can't do that anymore. Okay, you want to talk about training and the artistic road to where you are professionally? Yeah, that could be a good topic for a different video. I'll keep that in mind. I've always thought about doing that, giving a bit of a background, like a personal one. I just, yeah, I don't tend to do that for whatever reason. I'm one of those people who thinks no one's interested in personal stuff very much. But I know obviously some people are, and I would like to talk about that. Yeah, guys, I think this has been good. I just wanted to pose that question earlier, and again, thanks for anyone who contributed their thoughts on that. And the other thing that I had put on the polls recently on my community page was about ways you'd rather support a channel, and that was a much more clear-cut consensus as to whether you would rather just have the channel have sponsored content such as Squarespace and whatever, which I've always shied away from. I've had offers from companies like whatever, Skillshare and all that kind of stuff, but I've not done it. I don't really like the idea of that unless I truly am a big fan of that company, or at least use it or have been using it for a little while and do like their products. I'm not a fan of Squarespace, to be honest. I use other services for making a website. I find Squarespace too expensive for my needs. So it wouldn't be right for me to take on a sponsorship from someone like them, for example, right? Unless one day I really did start using their stuff because I could afford it and I did find it delivered the, stuff that I need. At the moment, my needs for a website are much more modest, and I use Pixbar, and I've talked about their stuff, but it's not sponsored. They don't have the budget to sponsor me on a film channel. And I've had other offers, but I've just been like, no, it's not really, it doesn't make sense for me to do that. Yeah, so that question was about whether you would rather see that stuff or just subscribe to a Patreon page or the YouTube memberships thing, which I thought would be a bit more popular, but that's the least popular answer. So it looks like that's not really as popular. But anyway, yeah, just ways I can kind of keep the channel a little bit monetized and financially sustainable, and allow me to make more videos and not have to work on other stuff as much. The fact that ScoMo's BM doesn't help either. That affects film prices? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe it's just a combination thing. Have an extra 100S. Got 400. Nice. Yeah, it won't replace the film experience, I think. And I wouldn't expect it to. It's a separate thing. So you're also offloading, yeah. Because the whole thing for a lot of people getting into film 5-6 years ago was because the cameras were so cheap, because it was so accessible. It was really affordable, and like you could get amazing quality lenses and camera bodies, full frame, for cheap prices when there weren't as many good digital cameras yet. and for affordable prices. They used to pale in comparison to a really good film camera that would cost $100 or $200 with an amazing lens and whatever. So it's different now. And we can't deny that. So Skillshare and Square, yeah, they are a little bit annoying, and that's what I find. So, and especially if it doesn't come across authentic. If anything, I'm sponsored by caffeine, by coffee. This is empty because I drank it. But I was thinking of making a segment. Let me know what you think, actually. I'm probably going to do it. Where I actually, because I have a Buy Me a Coffee page, which is where someone can just, if they want to, contribute a couple of dollars or whatever. And because I do enjoy caffeinated beverages, make a little segment saying this video is sponsored by coffee. So if you want to support the channel, you know, you can buy me a coffee on the following link. And then I would film it properly, like show a little bit of, you know, nice B-roll and make it like 5-10 seconds long. And that way I'm not like selling Squarespace or something that I'm not actually supported by. I don't know. Let me know what you think. We all shoot film. We have no money. Yep. Patreon would be a good move if you can tie in perks to your Discord and perhaps even print a small gift. Yeah, I've thought about that and like giving a copy of the zine or a discount on future zines or something like that. I'm just afraid that if I start a Patreon, I wouldn't be able to keep it going because I would hate to be one of those like pages that starts a Patreon and then gives some cool stuff for the first couple of months, and then 4 months later, you're getting charged a few bucks, and then there's not really many updates there. So that's what I'm afraid of, is being able to commit to it. If I could keep it all on the channel, that would be good. Yeah. So if I ever felt like I could truly commit to delivering on Patreon, I would do that because that does look like a good platform. Channel sponsorships are fine for me, completely manageable since I found the sponsor block extension. Oh, okay. What is that? Oh, so you can block the sponsored thingies on videos? I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. So I could be watching a Matt Day video and then he could be talking about Squarespace, but it would just skip that part. Is that how that works? Interesting. Definitely agree with Stephen Chen on tying Patreon and server together. Yeah. Yeah, that does seem like a good way to do it. And what I could do is do these live streams, for example, on Patreon. Because I know it's a lot of the people watching are you regulars, people who I've interacted with either here or on Discord a fair bit. So I think that would be the main perk of my Patreon if I was to make one, would be to put live streams there. And not all of them, but the more community-focused ones that aren't just about a product or something that I've reviewed or whatever. And maybe things about like, you know how I've done some live tutorials about converting film or editing something? That would be where I would do that as well. But I just don't know how it works. Do I still get to use the YouTube platform through Patreon, or do they have their own live streaming interface? And if they do, is it as good? So I need to look into that stuff. If anyone knows, feel free to message me. Hey John, what's up? Make a coffee commercial on Kodak motion picture film. Ooh, that's expensive. If you want to fund the 8mm film, I'll do that. Love the coffee idea. Yeah, because I have a Buy Me a Coffee page, and it's ironic. It's funny because I do actually drink a lot of coffee, and I spend money on a coffee subscription, but it's more to help support the channel. But if I make that ad, it's just kind of funny, and it's not actually sponsored, but it's a way to kind of remind people that that is one way you can contribute without selling out to a company that I don't actually believe in or whatever. Because there are companies I've had reach out where I've actually been interested in their thing, like maybe certain street photography related things, or brands like Fuji, who I would love to work with because I like their products and their stance and their kind of philosophy with photography. But like they wouldn't sponsor my channel; it's not big enough. And other people that have reached out, I've maybe made a quote and they're just not happy with it, or it's just never reached any sort of point of sponsorship, because I'm kind of discerning with when it comes to sponsors, just for the sake of integrity. Collaborate with Christopher Serm on that coffee. Yeah, someone's told me that. I do watch his channel. I know he's big on coffee. We need to do something. I just don't know how to execute it. Coffee break B-roll segment sounds good. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll try and make it funny. I'll get really high on caffeine so my eyes go red, and then I'll film that somehow, and it's just be me there, like kind of jittery, like Kramer in Seinfeld, if you've seen that. Make a Patreon, definitely. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, it's just if I do it, I want to make sure I do it properly. Sponsor use your created segments to skip the video ads. Cool. I'll try and make that's good. Do you have YouTube Premium? Because I subscribe to that because not because it cuts ads, but the main reason I got Premium was so I could have videos playing in the background on my phone, so I could just listen to them, for example, which is a huge feature that I think they should have just included. Also saved an hour of skipping ads. Yeah. Because I know how that feels. That's the thing. I don't like overly long ads and stuff. And if you've noticed, when I make videos, I don't have mid-roll ads because I hate those. I have just one in the beginning and then nothing else. Because I think that's what we were used to from the early days of YouTube. I don't like how now you have some playing in the middle of a 10, 20-minute video. I always disable those, and I try not to have the ones that appear on the screen. I only let them put the ones off to the side of the screen. Ibrahim, hey, I have a quick question regarding undeveloped film. Why they haven't gone up? Yeah, I know that because of inflation, and they haven't really. But like practically for me, they actually have gone up. Like I used to be able to buy a 4-pack of Pro Image for $27. Now it costs $50. So it has doubled. And it depends where you live, obviously. But that maybe it hasn't gone up in relation to what film used to cost. But I'm not comparing to that. I'm comparing to how accessible it was 3 or 4 years ago compared to now. And in that regards, it has gone up. Does X-ray really make it foggy? Rarely. If you take a carry-on, don't check your film in, but there is a chance that it can fog your film. There's plenty of articles about that on the internet that you could read into. Could do a classic Caffenol development. I'm not into doing Caffenol. I don't like the look of the results. I would feel like I'm not getting the full potential out of my film using Caffenol. Make a Patreon to help with consistent content. Ask clients you work with if they would mind shooting B-roll of the shoot. Yeah, I actually might be doing something like that later for a couple shoot that Sarah's shooting, because I love doing that kind of thing if the subjects are happy with it. But yeah, most of my client work, it would not work out unless I had an assistant, and even then, a lot of my stuff is corporate, and I wouldn't be able to get permission to shoot it for the internet. But that's a good idea. You don't do premium. Use a different YouTube app on. Oh, dude, you've got all the hacks. YouTube Advanced. Okay. To see how you shoot. Yeah, see, my clients are like university, corporate things, or weddings. Like, I can't go and shoot actual B-roll of like most weddings that I do, and even sometimes I do like portrait shoots on film for like editorial style things. But then I would need an assistant. I would need an entire other person filming me so I could talk, and I have no friends. No, I'm just kidding. I just, it's hard to kind of organize someone for like a 1-hour session where I'm spontaneously organizing a shoot the next day. And then, yeah, especially with the nature of things right now. I've tried to do that in the past, and I still want to do that kind of thing, but it would need assistance and extra hands, and yeah. Could do down the track. Good suggestion. Yeah, I really want to do more stuff like that. And I've actually spoken to some friends about the idea of coming out and filming while I do maybe street photography, for example. And I have had Sarah like take video while I've done other things. It's just not very frequent. But there will be something like that coming up soon, hopefully. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate all the contribution, the fact that you guys jump on, you're taking time out of your day or whatever time of day it is to sit here and watch a screen and talk about just random shit with me. So I really appreciate it. This live stream is probably not going to stay on the channel. It's just a really casual one just to kind of catch up with you guys. And I really appreciate the time that you've all taken. But yeah, maybe Patreon will be the way to go. And I will make that the home of these sorts of live streams and other informative educational live streams, because that would be something I could commit to, as well as maybe just some other discounts on future zines or something like that, which wouldn't require a commitment that I can't stick to for at least a year, because it wouldn't feel right otherwise taking people's money. Because if they just want to make a random contribution, they can choose buy me a coffee. But if they're doing it with the expectation of perks, I would have to deliver that. That's just my background in, business and client relationships and whatever. Time doesn't exist. Understand where you come from. It's really hard to schedule film shoot in general. Yeah, especially now with COVID, and like it's kind of, you'll schedule something and it cancels and it postpones and whatever. Talk about what about POV street with a GoPro? Yeah, I've done one of those videos recently. I've done a few, but my most recent one was the last video on the channel before the last one. It was the shooting in the rain with HP5. I want to do more of that. I just want to improve the quality and how I mount the GoPro and the quality of stabilization. And again, I think it would be good to have someone else also shooting from a third-party angle, because that would bring it to another level. And that way I could talk and go through the process on the street. I am working on something like that, actually. Yeah, that's another aspect. Love the film community, same. Glad I caught one. Yeah, guys, thanks for joining. You should add your coffee link in the credits. Yeah, actually, I don't know if I did it for this live stream because I just slapped this on at the last minute. But if you go on to any of my previous posted videos, like the last one I uploaded a couple of days ago, the link should be in there. Otherwise, I've already not added it to this live stream, so I can't do it now. But yeah, I appreciate if anyone does take the time to find that link and contribute whatever they feel like. Thanks, Fluke. No one cares for Squarespace ads. Yeah, there's just so many. Why is everyone Squarespace? Like, they must have a lot of money sponsoring so many creators. Good for them, though. It's good. Educational live streams. Yeah. So, like, going through some kind of maybe editing process or talking about something to do with the photographic process. Uni Zoom calls. Yeah. Are you Trung? You're based in Melbourne? I'm guessing. I'm not sure. Whatever you do is appreciated. Thank you. Oh, thanks, man. That's really kind. Digital mentor. Yeah. That's what it's like these days. Everything's going online. And the last 2 years have really pushed that format forward. Can't you put Buy Me a Coffee thing on the YouTube vids? Well, I can only put it in the description. Maybe I can put it in a card. Actually, I've never thought about that, because YouTube's very iffy about what external links you can put in those little, those little cards that pop up. Not that many people even bother to click them, but I usually just put it in the description, because if someone wants to, click the video description, they can click down and do that. Why not team up with another YouTuber and tag team filming? Yeah, I've talked about that, and I've actually had some guys from Melbourne, because that would be the most ideal situation, since travel domestically has been so hard for the longest time, reach out and say they want to collaborate. But then, we keep getting lockdowns and people are wary about meeting up with other people and the cases lately. So that's been the main reason why I haven't pushed for that. But I really am up for doing it. I really will hopefully do that soon. You're in Geelong. All right, cool. Yeah. Didn't know about Pixpar. Yeah, they're great. They're much more affordable than Squarespace. So, and for me, I don't need all the extra perks that Squarespace has. So I have Pixpar. I've done a video on it as well, which I have like my affiliate link for. But regardless of that, you can just check them out. And there's another one I've heard people talk about, which is meant to be quite affordable compared to Squarespace. Starts with a Z. I can't remember, but yeah, there's a lot of alternatives. Make Damon. Yeah, Damon has agreed to come and do some video and shoot together where we swap. So we both go shooting street. He takes the video camera and I film him, vice versa. And we have a GoPro on the actual, the shooter's perspective. We're going to do that sometime soon. It'll be good. And I know. I keep telling him to start that channel that he's talked about starting. Yeah. All right, guys. This has been great. Thank you. My battery's probably going to die soon on the Canon that I'm using as the webcam. So I appreciate all your time. If you want to chat further, follow me on Instagram. You can shoot a message there, and otherwise keep your eyes out for the next video or live stream. I'll be launching a video probably on Wednesday again this week. Trying to be a little bit more consistent. Not that it bothers me too much if I'm not, but maybe just for organizational sake. And that'll be about, I won't say, I'll leave it as a surprise. And then there'll be another video the week after, and hopefully another live stream next weekend. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you all next time. All right, enjoy the rest of your day. Go make some pictures.